We denied England a place in the World Cup final, and we'll stop them again.
It is their 11th as the England boss, and he has named his 9th different half-back combination. But 2 years ago, Tony Smith's Great Britain inflicted a 3-0 whitewash on New Zealand in the 2007 series, and it began with a 20-14 win here at Huddersfield's Gulf Farm Stadium. And of course, the England coach is back on familiar territory. He was coach of Huddersfield Giants for 3 years, 2000 to 2003. But he will be haunted by the manner of New Zealand's back-to-back World Cup victories against England last year. The two sides emerge. It is, of course, firework night for many people, and we're going to have fireworks here at the Gulf Farm Stadium tonight. I don't think there is any question about that whatsoever. But for England, a good start is imperative. In the last 2 games against France and against Australia, England have been behind at half-time, fatally so last week against Australia. Well, before the match, of course, gets underway, we have the national anthems, and after the national anthems, of course, we will have the traditional New Zealand haka as the Kiwis face up the English team. But first of all, the national anthem of New Zealand. Both anthems will be sung now by Ben Kerslake. And you'll notice that the New Zealanders have a poppy emblazoned on their chest. The same for England, of course. It is Remembrance Sunday tomorrow as the team changes to their back line, plus John Wilkin to the bench. They can't afford another slow start. It really is imperative for England tonight that they come out of the traps and that they fire on all cylinders. But before the match starts, the Kiwis gather. They will face up England, and we will have the haka as the gauntlet is well and truly thrown down to the Englishmen here in Huddersfield. I wonder whether the Kiwis will face up to England and walk towards them as they did in that World Cup final last year against Australia in Brisbane. it. And there's no doubt that the battle up front will be absolutely critical to tonight's outcome.
Certainly will, Eddie, and I'm sure that's the reason why Tony Smith has made the move of starting with Sam Burgess. We know the battle royal against the prop forward, Fui Moi Moi. It's been well documented this week that they will get into it. A big responsibility for this man, the Frenchman, Thierry Alibert. Let's hope that he gives them plenty of room to move. He's got to be on his game tonight because this is going to be cruel. We often talk about when you're doing in the tackle, you've got to peel the skin back. You've got to make it rare and rough and tough, and that is what we'll see.
So, sudden death Saturday. It's do or die for England and New Zealand. Australia await. Who's going to get to Ellen Road? Kevin Sinfield gets this game underway. And such anticipation in the country, hoping that England will make it. And there's the first hit of the match. And Gareth Ellis leading the way for England. And he felt that, did Sam Perrott.
Certainly did, he didn't miss it, and this is why the reason they've got to get into it. They have not started well. Is that a penalty? I think you'll find it is.
Ball stolen in the tackle.
The Kiwis are fired up for it as well. And it's not surprising. They go through the haka. You can see there the shoulder went up, the arm went from Ellis. They mean business. Let me get to them as quickly as possible. Boy, this is going to be one tough game. Nowhere to hide out there tonight.
Drive forward by Sia Soliola, the man on his way to St Helens in 2010. Currently the Sydney Roosters alongside his name. Thomas Luluai of Wigan, the only Super League player in this New Zealand team. Adam Blair bounces off the would-be challenge of Sam Burgess. Just over the halfway line, New Zealand with Luluai. And here comes Fui Moi Moi. He goes down on the third tackle. Luluai again at dummy half. Looks for Benji Marshall and finds him. He then gets it to Pritchard. That's the fourth tackle gone in this set of 6 for New Zealand as they threaten the England line. Marshall pops the ball up here for Frank Paul Nuasala. But he is dealt with by Graham, by Peacock and by James Graham. Last tackle here for the Kiwis. It's with Lance O'Hire, slides the kick in, bounces nicely for Sean Briscoe. Briscoe ducks under the first tackle and he manages to make a bit of priceless ground forward for England.
Pretty good position as well by Sean Briscoe. With plenty of nerves on out there. We must remember it's a very young, inexperienced three-quarter line. That's why it's important the likes of Graham and Morley, Peacock, Ellison Sinfield and Burgess. They've got to make sure they control things. They've got to take the heat out of this game in the opening 10 minutes.
Tony Smith knows that last year England surrendered a 24-8 advantage to lose 36-24 in Newcastle last year. Then they lost the World Cup semi-final a week later, 32-22. There can be no slip-ups this time.
And I think they'll be rather disappointed. They've kicked on the third tackle, but if you look at where the fullback Lance O'Hire has played the ball on the 40-metre line, that's a positive position for New Zealand to begin a set, and not how England wanted to start the match.
And they're coming forward again. They're over the halfway line, New Zealand. That is Bryson Goodwin, and he plays the ball to Luluai. He has a little scamper forward. And it's Graham and Morley who deal with that threat. Here now is Benji Marshall. And he gets the ball away to Nathan Feen. Nathan Feen gives it to the second row forward, Soliola, and he was met by good tackling from England. That's not the best kick from the Kiwis. It's sliced, but it's found a black jersey. And it's great work by Kyle Eastman. He was all over Bryson Goodwin then. It's the turnover.
Not only that, the pressure on the kicker was very good as well. They look fired up for it, but yet they seem to be in control of it. Big responsibility, Kyle Eastman, with his young partner, Sam Tompkins.
It's no surprise that New Zealand are looking to attack England out on their left-hand side of the field. Bridge, Eastman and Fox are the 3 defenders closest to England's right flank, and those are the ones who'll be asked so many questions early in this match.
The big thing that's evident to me so far from the first 2 sets of defence that England have performed is the amount of time they've spent in the tackle. If you compare that to last week's game against Australia, where they got blown away in the first half, Australia were able to dominate when they were going forward, play the ball quick. In a couple of sets so far, the big thing you notice is the number of players in the tackle and the amount of time they're taking to peel off. And Terry Alibert so far has allowed that.
Sam Tompkins with the kick. He was under pressure from Moi Moi, but that's a great kick comes out of the sky, and well, maybe it was a little bit too far forward from the onrushing England players, but Lance O'Hire deals with it. But then Morley and Tompkins come in with an important tackle. Tompkins again, good work at marker. Perrott straight to the floor.
Certainly is, and we saw there that they're going to ask the questions. That's what they did against Australia in the second half. And we saw the little run there from Kevin Sinfield. He'll control things from the dummy half position.
Luluai, and here's the prop forward Nuasala. That's the fourth tackle. Good set defensively so far from England. They're still penned inside their own half. Moi will drive it forward again. Morley was equal to the threat, as was Sinfield. Luluai, here now Nathan Feen, and he will drop the kick over the top. But it's too deep. It scoots away on this damp grass. And England will restart on the 20-metre line.
Well, to be fair, both sides, they've not got the radar right in the kicking department, and that just gives you some indication, perhaps the nervousness, the tension that's out there. It's sudden death, they know that. Waiting for them at Australia in that final.
Indeed so. They're aiming to bridge a 5-year gap of the English. In 2004, Brian Noble's Great Britain reached the Tri-Nations final against Australia's Ellen Road. They lost, of course. But England want another crack at Australia after last week. Morley, good run.
Tremendous stuff there. There wasn't any second phase. He just had the opportunity to maybe offload, but there was no one there. Got to make sure that you're not dying with the football. You've got to ask and pose the question, but you've got to support the man with the ball.
Sinfield fires the pass to Eastman. He will hoist the high kick. This is a good one. And Briscoe is after this. Well claimed in the air, though, by Perrott. Oh, and Briscoe's got it back.
Stick. Great opportunity, quick play the ball. Sinfield wants to get on with it.
Here is Eastman, and New Zealand are caught offside out wide.
Well spotted by the French official. Not surprisingly, the Kiwis just having a little bit of a talk. The captain, Benji Marshall. It's a bit of a ploy. It was taken. They were claiming that it was touched in the air. I'm not surprised. It looked that way.
Well, he was touched, but he didn't tackle him. This is Jamie Peacock, and England threatening the New Zealand line for the first time tonight. It was Sinfield. Oh, an awful pass. They've lost such momentum then. Here is Briscoe, but the black line of the defenders have moved forward, and no way that Briscoe could get through him.
It's getting a little bit tasty out there. Jamie Peacock, after playing the ball, he went for Thomas Luluai. They had more than a few words to say to each other. It's boiling.
Sinfield finds Burgess, and Burgess trying to barge his way through that Kiwi defence. He's got to within 2 metres of the line, and Sinfield there is waiting at dummy half. Better pass this time. It is short ball, but Morley was thundered to the ground by Moi. Here is Tompkins, slides the kick in, bounces off the Kiwis' feet. It's picked up by Luluai. Threat is averted for the time being.
It could have gone either way, this. Bounced away, and he's claiming that it hit a Kiwi player. It did. Was he in an offside position?
And there's an interesting play with the ball at the moment. Kieran Foran in number 3 hasn't played a game for 7 weeks. In the last 45 games that he's played, only 3 times has he started as a centre. He's primarily a standoff, and I'm sure England, in preparation for this game, will have looked to have targeted him, put him under pressure. Only 19 years of age. Let's ask some questions of him at the international level.
He's come here, though, with a big rap, hasn't he? And he is from the Manly club, and he's one of the young guns at Manly who they're hoping to build on in years to come. That's a great kick. It turns Briscoe around.
Well, he must have some ability. I haven't seen much of the kid play at all, but he must be a fair play if you're keeping a player like Krisnan Inu out of the team, or the Parramatta player who's been in sensational form this year. So Kieran Foran must be a fair play. A penalty there, cheap penalty really, and that's a relieving one for England, and they're now able to move down the field. They should be able to get this somewhere around the halfway line and be able to build some pressure again on New Zealand.
That was poor play by Nathan Feen. Great kick and chase, and what does he do? He goes swinging with the arm. Silly play.
So England will start 10 metres inside their own half, and here now is James Graham. Gets England to the halfway line on the first tackle. Sinfield. Morley hit that at pace. Good tackle low down it was, though, by Soliola.
That's what we've got to do, and that's the reason why Sinfield's out there. Look, he's just missed out 2 men. He's really mixing it up a little bit from that dummy half position. He's got to do a little bit running from his own as well. Add a bit more confusion. There he goes. Good stuff.
Sinfield, great ball. Here's Burgess. Burgess bundled away from the tackle. It's Eastman. It's Eastman under the post for England.
It got them 45, 50 metres upfield. And as I say, run from dummy half. And there was Burgess. Support play. Big man. Finished by the little fella. Tremendous start. Not surprising. You saw Burgess jump up into the air, but look at the support play. You can't afford to go high on that big fella, and this guy has got the speed. Tremendous start. The build-up, superb.
20 years of age, Kyle Eastman. Runner-up to Sam Tompkins, who's alongside him tonight at standoff in the Young Player of the Year vote. And Kevin Sinfield easily adds the extras. Barry!
That was a fantastic try for England. Close support play. Sam Burgess keeping his feet. But I was watching the Kiwis. I was watching their body language, seeing what kind of a reaction they would have. A lot of pats on the backs. Never mind, lads. Let's get back to it. No panic from the Kiwis.
So Kyle Eastman, who plays for St Helens, but of course comes from Oldham. And Kevin Sinfield, who plays for Leeds, but comes from Oldham. Two Oldham lads with the first points of this international, this vital Four Nations match. It's in effect a semi-final. I know there's no such thing as a semi-final, but it's sudden death tonight. Whoever loses, it's all over.
And it'd be a great relief for the English coach, Tony Smith, because they have not started well, England, in this tournament. The two games have been behind at half-time. They've shown a lot of character and come back in the second half, but it's all about playing for the full 80. And this will be a tremendous boost to get 6 points on the board just after 10 minutes. Super stuff.
And they're playing with conviction, and they're getting over the advantage line, and they're looking strong. And they're looking eager when they're called on to defend, and they're looking eager when they're chasing these high kicks like that from Sinfield. Whoa, O'Haya's lost it. Sinfield's got it, it's knocked forward. What a shame.
Had the chance as well. He was all over the shop, wasn't he, the full-back, Lance O'Haya. And they just couldn't get it back. It was an opportunity there. And how quick is Kyle Eastman in reading the play on two occasions. Scored once, nearly made it two within minutes.
Great hit. Sam Burgess is up for this. Perrott really felt that. No way through for Benji Marshall. Morley and Burgess again. Good run from Luluwai. He was standing wrong, though. There was Adrian Morley, not standing square.
Tremendous play there by Luluwai. He knew perfectly well that the big fella, Adrian Morley, had not even got behind, not even straight, certainly not 10 metres. And if you're not behind your first marker, then he has to be penalised.
We've just seen the value there of a quick play the ball and what you can get from it. You'll either get a penalty or you'll get plenty of metres down the field. New Zealand, I don't think, have been at their best in that department because they've been well controlled by the England side. The try, to me, it was no surprise because England have won that area in terms of ruck speed so far. And that's something that probably we'll talk about in the... There's another penalty given there from Terry
He can't give the penalty that way. He called held, the player offloaded the ball.
Well,
It seems a strange decision, Eddie.
I think he's said that the ball by Bridge was stolen, I think, and that's why the penalty has been given. Chris Bridge, the former Irish international, of course, and he's playing his second cap or winning his second cap for England, having played against Wales the other week. This is Adam Blair. I know that it's very early days and England ahead 6-0, but, you know, the Kiwis have lost their last 3 visits to this ground. They've not won here since 1998. Great hit by Gareth Ellis on Fui, moi moi. This is Luluwai. Here is Feen. Now Marshall. Marshall flicks the ball back on the inside. It's Junior Sau. A real handful.
Good work by Michael Shenton there. Anticipated the inside pass. Collared it.
Luluwai will fire the pass. He'll find Feen. And Feen, all the space here for O'Haya. How wide they go. And they're in the corner. It is Goodwin with the try in the corner. The referee hasn't given it yet, though. He wants to check the grounding. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And over in the corner goes Bryson Goodwin.
That's a try. No problem whatsoever for the video ref tonight, Phil Bentham. Well, they were caught out wide. This will be confirmation. It is, it's TRY.
Try for New Zealand. They've hit back, they responded. His 4th try at this level. 22 points for this fellow against France last week. from a try and 9 goals from 11 attempts. Only 3 men in New Zealand Test history have actually scored more points in an international for the Kiwis, and he's about to try and add the extras.
And this is the wall steal by Chris Bridge, no doubt about it. More than one in attendance, and from that position, the penalty, and they got caught out wide there. They were just stumbling a little bit. There was nothing that Kyle Eastman could do about that. It was a 2-on-1 situation, and you'll see that the defence goes out. Chris Bridge, he just hesitates, and it's sufficient to create the overlap. If you're going to move out of the line, you've got to make sure you take your man. You don't leave yourself in no man's land. And this fella, Bryson Goodwin, has responded for the Kiwis. Can he square it up?
Wasn't a bad little pass either, was it, from the young debutant Kieran Foran on his inside. Godwin had the extras. No, he can't. Terry O'Connor.
You've got to give some credit to Fufu Moimoi. Every time he gets the ball, or looks like he's getting the ball, all the English forwards are zooming in. They were really short. They were really caught short out there. Kyle Eastman was calling for players to come over. Goodwin come up with the perfect try, but just watch this clash. Adrian Morley said, don't panic. We're on top in the forwards. Let's keep taking it to them.
There he is, Fuifuyu Moimoi, 8th cap for his country, looking forward to renewing his hostilities with Sam Burgess. They clashed here 2 years ago, and much has been made of that personal battle that will be going on out there tonight.
Well, the most important thing for Burgess's case is just to ignore it. Just get on. It doesn't matter who's out there. If it's a black and white jumper, just crunch him.
Well, there he was. It was Burgess who got to Moimoi then. Put him on his backside, but the ball had gone. There's Foran. He'll play the ball on the 4th tackle. Blair gets it wide, and here is Soliola.
Well, after only 16 minutes, I get the impression that Stephen Kearney, the Kiwi coach, has got the message out. We do not want an arm wrestle down the middle. Let's give it a little bit of width. They've already scored a try from that.
Sean Briscoe was a little slow really to react to that. He allowed the ball to bounce in front of him. Maybe had he taken it on the full, England would have been on the front foot. Maybe just didn't feel confident enough to come and take the ball. It looked a poor kick, but it wasn't a bad kick in the end because he found ground, found the pitch.
At least Ryan Hall is able to get his hands on the ball a bit earlier than last week. I think it was 30 minutes before he got really to touch the ball. By New Zealand kicking straight down the field to Sean Briscoe, it gives Ryan Hall a chance to get involved more.
This is Tompkins. Good ball, gets it wide. Bridge. Big hit by Pritchard. Impressive field, nearly tackled Chris Bridge then.
That's a quality that Sam Tompkins brings to any side.
Here he is again.
His ability to step, it just confuses the defence. Is he going to go on his own? It was a neat pass out wide as well. This is a good chase. Solid. Look how many white jumpers are there.
Lance O'Hire is grounded by 3 of them. 17.5 minutes gone. England with their noses in front, but New Zealand, world champions, and in possession here with Bryson Goodwin, their try scorer. Gets the ball in field to Nuasala. Do the Kiwis?
Be interested to see when Stephen Kearney throws onto the field Isaac Luke, who really has turned it on, and that's a big brush off. I don't think Maul is too well.
Isaac Luke, it was a tremendous run from him. This is Frank Pritchard now for the Kiwis. What's Morley like? He's just being checked. Seems like he's okay for the moment to carry on, although they're watching him very closely indeed. High kick. Well claimed by Ryan Hall. Good defence though from New Zealand.
Good work by Peter Fox as well, because it took a while for the English forwards to get back into some semblance of organisation. They've got to. It's been pretty torrid in the opening 18 minutes.
Here's Peacock, and he's making a little break. Just couldn't get the ball away, the England captain. 10 metres inside the Kiwis' half of the field. Sinfield to Ellis. That's the last tackle for England.
Oh, nearly dropped it, Ellis there.
It's Eastman. Up they go again. They're giving it plenty of air tonight. Briscoe's after this. Oh, Lance O'Hire's knocked it forward, but the referee, I think he's said offside against Briscoe.
Not required 10. Did he interfere with him? He just dragged him back slightly as well. Oh, that's well spotted by the French official, Mr. Alibert. It was a huge kick, though, wasn't it, from Kyle Eastman?
Adrian Morley's left the scene for the time being. And Earl Crabtree has come on, the local hero. Morley takes his place on the sideline. It was a big collision, wasn't it, just a few minutes ago?
It sure was, Eddie, but just to go back to Lance Ohio, I've seen this happen before in games. He's been put under pressure now twice. Whether Sean Briscoe was offside or interfered with it or not, I'm not sure, but he made a poor decision earlier in the game too, where he allowed a ball to bounce, and England could have capitalised that and score. I think he's going to find there's plenty of ball going in the air to him tonight.
Brilliantly collected, but what a hit. What a hit. It was Waria Hargreaves and Burgess and Crabtree all over him. Bill?
Yeah, Adrian Morley, well, they took a bit of time to make their mind up, and he initially insisted that he was OK, but the medical staff overruled him, and a big roar as Earl Crabtree comes on the field in his place.
Here's Lance Ohio. New Zealand creeping forward. That's a good ball on the inside. Pritchard again. Wants to get up and play it quickly, and Bridge was hanging on to the jersey, trying to slow the play, the ball down. Can't do that at this level.
No, you've got to be away once you've done the work. And it was silly play there by Chris Bridge. That's the second occasion he's given away the penalty. And on the first one, the Kiwis scored.
Surprise inclusion by his club coach, of course, Tony Smith. And England are being penalised heavily. New Zealand's fifth penalty they've just received. And here now is Feen, and it's Marshall. Marshall trying to slide the kick in. It'll get another set of 6 here on the end of that, surely. No, did he play it? No. The referee says the tackle count continues. Lucky to get away with that, Benji Marshall. Here now, Junior Sow.
Well, England have gone on to a man-on-man marking now.
No hands! Heads out! No, it's fine. Go.
Luluai to Feen. Good tackle. Tremendous tackle by Crabtree on home soil. Luluai finds... Oh, well, here Hargreaves run without it. Briscoe will try the counter. That's a penalty for England, surely. It's exactly the same as Bridges.
Yeah, should have given it. There's a big fella, Crabtree. Quick play the ball. That's the key to England at the moment. Just took his eyes off it, didn't he? Well, here Hargreaves. And a little look at the defence coming to him.
This is Sinfield now. And problems for Gareth Ellis. Just a touch of blood on the top of the nose, between the nose and the eye, as Peacock drives it forward once again.
Been pretty impressive where that England are sharing the work as well. The likes of Peacock, Morley, Graham, getting through into it. No, I'm not so sure that was a wise option from Graham to give it to the thin full-back, Sean Briscoe.
Poor kick from Eastman,
yeah.
it is, straight down the throat of Ohio.
Shocking.
It's a poor kick and a non-existent chase.
New Zealand gradually getting themselves more and more into the picture here.
I'll tell you what, Eddie, though, it's an interesting point. They are being out enthused, in my opinion, by an England side that have started particularly well. They've obviously set their goal out to get to the 20-minute mark and be on top of this game. Now, they've just forced an error there from New Zealand. Sam Parrott, I think, is the man who loses the football in collision.
Well, let's give Kyle Eastman some credit. We were critical of his kick the moment he kicked it. Didn't seem to be any of his teammates to help him out by getting down there. But he's worked hard from the marker, and he's putting his opponent under so much pressure that they get the ball back here in a good position. I think both sides, Eddie, a little fatigued here. 23 minutes into the game, they both want to catch the second breath, and it's just dying for play here now to explode through a hole.
Well, he's got not much experience, has he, Kyle Eastman, but he showed plenty there. That was definitely a ball steal, not seen by the official, and a big smile on his face. Now then, can they drive forward and then give the three quarters some opportunity? We haven't seen the England outside backs get much chances yet.
There's one of them, Ryan Hall. Struggles to his feet, plays the ball to Sinfield. Here is Graham. Graham back to Eastman. Eastman shaped to go right, went up the middle on his own. Sinfield waits again. England inside the 20-metre zone. It's with Tompkins. This boy's a match winner if he wants to be, if he gets the opportunity. Would have been a penalty, but he was looking for it, Tompkins. Here's Peacock. Gets the ball away all along the deck to Sinfield. Sinfield with a kick over the top, looking for the winger out wide. Tackled in the air. Benji Marshall tackled him in the air then. It's a penalty.
He knocked on before he tackled him, I think, didn't he? He knocked on before he made the tackle. No, you're right, Eddie.
That's a penalty. He never even goes for the ball. He's automatically gone for the man. And Peter Fox has got no option but to not take this. How can you... Well, that is a penalty.
Come on, guys!
Well, not only a penalty, Steve, in my opinion, it's 10 minutes in a sin bin. That's a professional foul. There's no question about it. Possible try-scoring situation. I think England have been hard done to there, and New Zealand have used one of those get-out-of-jail-free cards.
Well, we're giving Thierry Alibert and all the crowd are a bit of stick as well, but where on earth was the touch judge in a situation like that? There's Matolino, the ball eventually coming back to Sam Perrott. And Tony Smith couldn't believe the decision either. This is Luluai. Westwood is out there, so too is Crabtree, as you see, and he's come on for Peacock.
I was going to say good work again by Thomas Luluai.
Good kick, this.
Very good kick.
Great kick. Not out yet, it's not out. Oh, there's a right mess. Briscoe has made a complete not a porridge of that. He seems to have a little lack of confidence at the moment, Sean Briscoe, to me.
It's called pressure, Eddie. Big crowd, so much hanging on this game. Well, that is a shocker, and he knows it.
I mean, my mind goes back to when he didn't take the kick downfield on the full and didn't run it back. He does that week after week for Hull KR. Of course, it's a big step up, isn't it? It's a huge step up.
That's what I said. This is all about pressure. And it doesn't come much bigger than this. They realise. Lose this one, you're gone.
Come on.
You're on your holidays.
Goal line drop out for England then to halfway. Nathan Feen. Here comes the run from Jeff Lima. He missed last week against the French injured. He was injured in the draw against the Australians. You see his left leg is heavily bandaged when he gets the ball again. It's a physical encounter as Waria Hargreaves plays the ball. Here is Benji Marshall, pops it back then. Here's Pritchard, such a danger, the second rower from the Penrith Panthers club. It's Luluai, it's a good ball flat to Lima. England dealing with the threat, but there's still 2 tackles left in this set of 6. The red for danger sign is flashing for England. It's with Luluai. Here is Benji Marshall. Bridge gets to him, but he still managed to get the ball away, and England have it back.
And lucky. I think he knocked on as well.
James Roby was first to see the danger there.
And being part of a team is about helping your teammates out when they make a mistake. And the England defensive effort there after Sean Briscoe's error in goal is admirable. You know, they've shown that they've got a great spirit here to work for one another. They've come up with possession, and it was an important moment in the match.
He's lost it, it's a knock-on. Well, there's a lot of arms and fingers and all sorts going into the tackle, trying to release the ball. Graham couldn't hang on to it. There has been a little bit of rain late this afternoon, but it really shouldn't have affected it so much.
If that was a knock-on and the Kiwis picked it up, why did the referee blow for the scrum? That was a golden opportunity for the New Zealanders. It must have been because he shouted hell, was it?
Stay behind, guys.
Your guess is as good as mine, Eddie. It's not only the players that are feeling the pressure.
Ohio gets the ball out to Perrott. Oh, Benji Marshall did not like what Sam Tompkins did after him. He went for him.
And there's pushing and shoving. The referee has said, well, play on. Don't mess about. And there was 3 England players more interested in getting involved in the fracas than getting on with the game.
Well, Benji Marshall took a right swing at Sam Tompkins, I can tell you. I watched it. Here is Waria Hargreaves. He goes down on the third, that they are 8-9 metres away from the line, New Zealand, and they are penalised, England, because, well, Crabtree is claiming that he was being held on top of him. He had hold of his shirt, sir, he said. But Thierry Alibert unimpressed.
Well, in such a vital game, Eddie, I've got nothing wrong personally against the French referee. But is he really capable of handling a match of this magnitude? I don't think he is, to be fair. And this is where Marshall certainly made one, hit the mark, Tompkins felt it. Ellis said, well, it won't be anything stupid, but I'll just be his protector.
Benji Marshall, Gareth Ellis, West's teammates in the NRL, and the coaching staff, Messrs Smith and McNamara, just making a note. And England being absolutely caned in the penalty count, 6-2. And Benji Marshall levels the scores here. Benji Marshall's Bryson Goodwin levels the scores here, 6 apiece.
Eddie, I've got a bit of a theory about the penalties. I think that England have set their stall out to actually hold down in the tackle, and I think they're prepared to give a few away. It's very obvious to me that they want to be the first people up. They want to control the play. They want to make sure that New Zealand don't get those quick play the balls and therefore can't get a roll on and upset the way they play. And I think England have been prepared to give a few away, and they have given a few away, and really it hasn't cost them that much.
England will know, but I'll tell you anyway that a draw is no good to them whatsoever. England have got to win. New Zealand have the luxury of knowing a draw will take them to Ellen Road next week. And they've already had one, of course, against the Australians in the first week of this tournament at the Twickenham Stoop. You don't play for draws in rugby league. You play to win the game, and that's what England have got to do.
And you talk about winning the game, that's the reason why Stephen Kearney has thrown this fella on. Isaac Luke, he is a talent, and that's going to be a penalty. Now, again, they're conning the official.
Well, I think he's spot on, Steve-O. I mean, the first one was a con. I think the second one, that's a con. But look, he's in the way. You've got to get out of the way. 7th penalty.
The one thing you know if you're watching off rugby league is that penalty counts tend to even themselves up. If England can survive this tough period here now, where they've been starved of possession, they'll get plenty ball later on, but they've got to deal with some powerful charges by the black and white jerseys. Look at the leg drive there.
Well, England started this match really well. They were on the front foot. They're very much in the contest, of course. Here is Isaac Luke. Good ball to Junior Sau. Such a rough house, this Junior Sau. 22 years of age, 4th cap tonight. Plays it back to Luke. Luke then to Nathan Feen. Benji Marshall picked that up brilliantly. Not the best pass, though. And a right schmozzle from Bryson Goodwin.
Well, that comes about by what we call doing a set pattern move. You run through as a dummy, I will then throw it behind, and then it goes to ground, and you make a right meal of it. Sometimes they're told what to do when I often despair. Why don't they just do something off the spur of the moment? If you see the opportunity, go for it, take for it.
But Brian Carney mentioned that in the build-up, in our build-up to this match. He said England should just try and play off the cuff. Yes, they've got a game plan, but just throw caution to the wind here tonight.
Well, they did it against Australia last week, didn't they, in the second half? And that was the difference.
Most coaches, though, Steve-O, will give you a licence to play what you see, but you still have to have some structure to your game, don't you?
England get the penalty, and ironic applause around the ground.
Well, there's so much messing around, trying to hold them down. And the substitute, Isaac Luke, gives England a golden opportunity. 2 drives. And then let's see what we've got in the 3 quarters. It was a nice switch, though, from Graham, wasn't it?
There's a penalty. It's all over Michael Shenton.
I'm sorry, Eddie, but I don't think this guy's up to it at this level.
Second! Hands out!
Here is Sinfield again for England. He's made the break. Great run from Sinfield. Important tackle from Lance O'Hire. Roby fires the pass wide. It's Tompkins. Hauled back.
He slipped rather than take the step.
Well, it's a right mess because it's been allowed to be a mess.
Benji, come on.
I think he's calling Benji Marshall. He should also call the England skipper to him as well.
He's spot on. Messing around, grabbing shirts, doing this. People rolling around on the floor, trying to milk the penalty. Let's get on with the game. It's the second occasion. Isaac Luke has given away a silly penalty.
England going for broke here with Graham. Roby fires the pass back to Tompkins. Here is Eastman. He'll come back this way. Eastman taking them on, having the confidence to do that. Isaac Luke again all over the top of him. Roby gives it back to Sinfield. Sinfield then pops the pass to Briscoe.
Just came a little bit too early to the full-back. Could have just anticipated a bit. When he got the ball, he was virtually there, standing still. Got to move on to it.
Roby and Tompkins and Ellis. Junior Sow stood his ground. It's Roby again.
And that should be a penalty. One of the New Zealand defenders there wasn't set, wasn't square, wasn't even back on side.
Not the best from Shenton, but it finds Tompkins. The kick, oh, it's over the top, and this is again. And it's Peter Fox. Peter Fox has scored for England. Lovely floated kick from Tompkins. And lovely play from Peter Fox.
And a very confident decision by the referee here, because I'm not sure from the position we're sitting that Fox actually grounded this ball before he passed the dead ball line.
I think he went on his back.
Oh, I think he got it down okay.
Well, it's 4 points on the scoreboard, and that's all the England fans are bothered about.
Yeah, it certainly is, but it wasn't the best pass, and by the time Tompkins got to it, he was under a lot of pressure. Got taken down, messing around. It really is becoming a bit of a disaster out there in that department. Shocking pass, took it on the bounce, straight into the corner, and when Bryson Goodwin completely miscalculated the kick, in comes Mr. Fox, no doubt about that at all. Plenty of room to spare.
And Peter Fox, he grounded it. It did look from up here, and we're about, what, 50, 60 metres away from the action. It did look as though the grounding was questionable, but not for the touch judge, not for the referee. And so Peter Fox, 5 tries now in 5 England appearances. Sinfield to add the extras. Yes, it is. Super League's top goal kicker, Barry.
I watched England before the match. They were practicing that. They're looking to attract the Kiwis into the middle or to one side and then leave one of the wingers or one of the fringe players isolated. I'm also picking up a lot of finger pointing, a lot of shouting, a little bit of sledging. I think something a little bit physical's on its way.
Well, if it's on its way, the physicality, Barry won't be upset at ground level. I suppose if they wander towards him, he might be a bit upset. But knowing Barry, he'd get involved, wouldn't he, Steve-O?
Yeah, and to be fair...
And Terry, his mate from the other end, would run and help out.
Listen, it hasn't been Chinese checkers, they said it. I mean, it's been pretty tough out there.
Roby.
There's some tough tackling going on.
Roby saying earlier in the week he wants to be an 80-minute player. He wants to be a player that starts a match, not necessarily comes on and makes the impact. Good run from Bridge, meanwhile. There is Roby again, gives it to Sinfield. Up it goes again. This is a definite tactic from England. High hanging kick lost. England will have another set of 6 here with Tompkins. The high kicks are causing pandemonium in the New Zealand defence. Roby, Ellis, strong run from Ellis.
They're having all sorts of problems, aren't they? Perrott on the wing, Ohio the full-back, not confident with the kicks at all.
Crabtree. Great offload. Roby couldn't get away from the tackle of Ben Matolino. Graham. Oh, Ellis, it found its way to him by him. This is Tompkins. Tompkins struggling for the line. He's over.
He's held up, though. Good positioning by Mr. Alibert. They'll take it back. It's tension there on the face of Tony Smith, the coach.
Tompkins plays it. That was Roby. Here is Sinfield. Crabtree, the short ball. Plenty of tackles left in the bank here.
Will Eastman take them on?
Well, there it is with Eastman. No, he gives the pass wide. It was a bit of a fumble from Westwood. That's the last for England. High kick again, maybe. It's with Eastman. It's a dink. Looking for Tompkins. Oh, they have it. Almost. It's a knock on. It's certainly a knock on by the Kiwis.
Well, the kicking game is just making the Kiwis fall apart.
Matolino making a porridge of it this time. And England rush to the scrum.
had a second go at it, couldn't control it under the pressure of Sinfield. And the crowd are reeling in behind the home side now. Will they work the blindside move? There's Shenton there on that left-hand side as they attack.
Come on.
Again, Will Eastman asked the question.
More quicker.
Got the quality, got the step.
Come on. Go.
Sinfield to Eastman. Oh, there's a chance here. It's Peter Fox. It's a second try for Peter Fox. England end the first half on the up. Six tries in 5 appearances now. So disappointed, this young man from Elkingston Rovers, to miss the first 2 games of this tournament. He was desperately unlucky not to make the World Cup last year, and he's come up with 2 tries off the wing tonight that has changed the complexion of this first half in England's way, in a big way.
All came about by the big error of Machelino. They got the scrum base, and this is absolutely classic three-quarter play. See how they hesitate. They come out of the line, inexperienced, Kieran Foran. The Manly youngster, inexperience has cost the Kiwis a lot. Foran's in no man's land. He can't allow Bridge to go on, give him space like that. Fox says thank you very much indeed. It only takes half a yard, but if you move out of it and give them the opportunity, and this winger, Peter Fox, goes in for his second. I know we're getting all excited about it, Eddie, but remember, we had a commanding lead against the Kiwis in the World Cup. We should have held on to that, and I'm sure that'll be in the half-time speech by the coach, Tony Smith, to concentrate even more.
The conversion then from Kevin Sinfield. He adds the extras to the fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, that was interesting. The Kiwis so surprised by that flowing move. They're actually watching the replay on the big screen. No doubt the kicking game has improved this week. Phil highlighted it, pointed it out. There's 3 kickers. There's Kevin, there's Kyle, and there's Sam Tompkins, causing all kinds of problems.
And Peter Fox with his second try. England in the box seat as we reach half-time. Leading 18 points to 6. There is the half-time siren. They started the first half well. They ended it spectacularly. It was a bit of a slugfest in the middle. Eastman's try and Sinfield's goal on 9 minutes, 6-0. Goodwin's try, Goodwin's penalty goal after half an hour. It was level. But then, in stepped the fantastic Mr. Fox. 2 tries, 18-6. England, they're 40 minutes away from the final.